Hey everybody, I want to cover some really interesting websites on the internet that most people don't know about. I just want to cover 3 today. The first one is so awesome. It's called Anna's Archive, and it has over 125 million books. I'm going to link this all up in my article on timtruth.substack.com. Check the description for the link. So this is annas-archive.org. It claims to be the largest truly open library in human history. And I think they have a pretty good claim to that. So this is the other site that we're going to look at, Sci-Hub. Anna's Archive includes Sci-Hub. It also includes LibGen, the Library of Genesis, and zlib, OpenLib, and more. You can search right on their page for whatever you're looking up. Put the keyword in. The problem with this is it limits you to 100 search results per category. So I only get 100 books or 100 journal articles. And for something like this, there's so many more than 100. So what do? Well, if we have a certain book in mind, we can just search for the book by its title, or by its DOI, or by its ISBN, or by its LibGen ID. That's what MD5 here is. Now what's really awesome is if you scroll down, there's a list of data sets where you can see some more information about how many files are being backed up here. 128.6 million files, 641 terabytes. So obviously we can't download 641 terabytes very easily. That would take forever, I would imagine. So that's not something I'm going to be doing in the foreseeable future. But I salute the people who are doing this. So then the question becomes, how can we find what we want to type into this box? The IDs, the title of the books, etc. And I'll cover some ideas in a second. So one of the other sites that I want to cover today is called Sci-Hub, a truly remarkable website. It has access to so many different scientific papers. So if you find a DOI reference somewhere, say you're on PubMed, and we search for mutagenicity of ivermectin. I'm looking for one by Sweefy et al. Here it is. So this was 2019. And what you could do, see, one problem here is it doesn't have the DOI. That's what we're looking for. So let's look up this fact that ivermectin is a potent PGP inhibitor, meaning it shuts down one of the key detox pathways, meaning people become more susceptible to toxic PGP substrates. Here's the DOI number. So if you ever see a number like this, you can usually copy it and go to sci-hub.se. Sometimes these URLs change. They have to change. So if we paste it in the box and hit enter or hit the button, if it finds it, it pops open. Super easy to use. Now there's also a data export feature on Sci-Hub. And this would have helped, for example, if they had that article, but we don't know the DOI, but we know the name of it. So if we have an article and we don't know the DOI, this might help us to know if it's in Sci-Hub or not. So this is very much for advanced users, but you can download a SQL table with all of the article's metadata. So that's like the authors, the title, the journal, etc. And then you'd also get the ID that you can go load up on Sci-Hub. You can see they have a wide variety of different topics, and you can see the relative amounts of each. They also have a list of all of the DOIs, which I'm glad they offer that, but then again, I don't know how to use that as well as the second option, which would allow us to search for something. So if we're looking for something in particular, and we want to see all the results on Sci-Hub, this is the best way to do it. Download the SQL table, load it up into your own database, and then you can query it. And for your reference, I was able to download this huge file. I didn't upload it into a database, although that's something I want to do. So you can see all these fields. These are what are made with the table. You can see create table, sci, mag. So ID, DOI, title, author, year, etc., etc. And then once the script creates the table, it proceeds to insert into the table. So all of these lines, and there's a lot more than this, insert a new record into the table. So it just runs these commands back to back to back, and it populates a table. And then you can do something like select all from SciMag, where title is like, meaning it contains the string. And then you could search for something like P-glycoprotein, or anything that you're searching for. But this is the advanced use case. Don't worry about this. Most people aren't going to do that. The key thing is you can go to annas.archive.org, and you can search in here for books. So actually, I think we're going to cover 4 websites today. The third website is archive.org. This is the Internet Archive. You've probably seen it. It houses a ton of classic books. Now, you might have noticed that over the years, many of these books have been quickly disappearing from the shelves. Many of them now make you queue in line, in a digital line, for your book rationing. And then you only get it on an hour-by-hour basis. And if anybody else comes along, you lose access. And I'm pretty sure you can't just download. So that's very inconvenient to those of us who are trying to do fair use research. So Internet Archive has a search feature, and you can search through there. Sometimes you'll hit a blockade. It'll say you have to log in and rent this book. That's a good time to take the ID and then go see if we can find it in Anna's archive. In addition to searching the Internet Archive directly, you can also do a Google search. So you can search a keyword followed by space archive.org. And then also, a pro tip is that you can also search site:archive.org and then put space and then your search phrase. And if you want it to be exactly that search phrase, if you have multiple words, like world history, you put those in quotes, double quotes. And this should also work on sites like Bing, etc. Now, Anna's archive has a huge list of all of the IDs that they have from Internet Archive. So I linked to this as well if you want to download this. It's on the torrents page on Anna's archive under the IA section, the Internet Archive. And you can also download all of the actual files. Look how big these files are. 3 terabytes, 1.7 terabytes, 1.7 terabytes. But there's so much stuff on Internet Archive that I want to use a much more laser-focused approach, where I'm grabbing specific documents. As it says here, if you have 700 terabytes, you can download all these torrents and set up a full mirror of Anna's archive using their source code. But here you can see the metadata JSON text gz.torrent. And this torrent grabs a list of all of the different IDs that Anna's archive has from Internet Archive. Now I'm still trying to think, how can we search through the Internet Archive other than using Google and the internal search feature of Internet Archive? It's not a huge issue, but it is a bit of a blind spot. We have to know that this file exists, and then we can go download it if we're being blocked. And a lot of times, though, if it's like this, where it's missing, this item is no longer available, we're going to have some issues. You would probably be hard-pressed to find this in the Google search engine. And you can't even see what the name of the book is or any details about it. It's been scrubbed. The reason I found this is because I was searching etymology in this big list of IDs. And this looked interesting, obviously an etymology dictionary. So I went to the link archive.org/details/the ID, and it's gone. So if we knew the title, we could just search for that in the search box. But all I know at this point is the ID of archive.org, and it's been deleted. So what I found, though, that's really cool is there's a special URL you can go to. It is behind a CAPTCHA, which makes it hard to automate. As it says right here, this page is not intended to be an API. So that means to use it programmably to get data. But we can use it manually and get a lot of interesting information. So just from this ID, I just plugged it right in. I have details about how to build this URL, but it's pretty straightforward. You just change this part. We can see this number here, libgen MD5. So this means it's synced up with libgen. There's a document in libgen. And if I just copy this number and I paste it here, hit enter, it comes straight up. Etymological Dictionary of Proto-Indo-European Language. And you can see down here, there are all these external download options. You can also do slow download, but it requires browser verification. If you become a member, it says no browser verification required, which also opens the door if you're doing an automated web crawler, I'm guessing. So I'm not sure if that's like an advertised feature, but that's kind of what they're hinting at, if you ask me. But also down here, external downloads are more options. So LibGen nonfiction is a great option. You just open this up and you can see at the top, get. And it looks like it's going to take about 3 minutes to download. And then if you download using one of the slow links, it looks like it takes about half that time. So this page pops open, download from partner website. I just clicked right here, download now. And there's also some more information on here, the title, the author, etc., etc. And if we take this title, for instance, we could just search straight for this in Anna's archive. Boom, there. So it pops right open. And there's actually 2 versions. So this was a big revelation for me today. And again, I'm not encouraging anybody to download anything copywritten, but I do think it's very important for humanity to have these types of resources for researchers to use in fair use capacity. There's one other website I really like to bring up, Wikimedia Commons. So if we search this book in here, you can see there's an image. We could check that out, but usually I go to other media. So you can see all these results that come up. I'm not sure if the exact one I'm looking for came up, but some other options. So one great thing about this search engine is it'll actually show you all of the search results. And you can just keep scrolling and scrolling and scrolling. Unlike Anna's archive, which makes it a lot harder. Unless you have the exact ID or the name of the book. So I'm still looking at LibGen. They have a number of files that you can download. So for example, libgen 2024.38.rar. And I'm still waiting on this to download. It's taking forever. I'm 20% of the way through 5 gigabytes. But I'm pretty sure it's a MySQL file, similar to the one that we looked at earlier, that creates a table and fills it up with all of the file information in such a way that you can query it, search it, and then you can plug any matches into Anna Archive's search engine. So I want to keep this simple. I don't want to ramble on too long, but I do think that with these large language models and the AI tools that we have popping up every day, we should keep in the back of our mind all of these disparate data sources that we can plug into and think about where the most interesting, useful, valuable knowledge and information resides. So I'll link this article down below so you can get all these links. And thanks for watching. Let me know what you think. Take care.